Matthew, thank you so much for taking the time today. I'm a big fan of your work and before we get to Quest Ends Whiskey, I know obviously a lot of our readers, they're going to know you from what's been an awesome acting career. So I feel like maybe first I want to know what led to you founding Beasley and Grimm's, because I think maybe a lot of people aren't going to know that obviously that's something you're involved with if they're not familiar with your love of tabletop games.
Yeah, so Beetle and Grimm's is it's a high-end. We created a high-end Dungeons and Dragons accessory company about 5 years ago. We've now branched off and are doing all different kinds of games and RPG systems, and are ever expanding into other sort of board game areas. But yeah, it was a little bit of a midlife crisis. I mean, I'm an actor, and as such, I wait for other people's permission to do my job. I've been an actor since I was a little kid. I started acting when I was 13. Not professionally, but that's when I started to do it in school, and then I did in high school, and I did in college. So I've been doing the same thing for a long time. And about 5 years ago, four of my best friends, we've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since we were 21. We're now well over 50. And so we were all sort of having a moment in our lives, and we decided to try to do something different. We start out with one SKU, and now we're up to like 250 and ever expanding. And all my partners have now left their full-time careers and work full-time for the company. And I, the goal of that company is to feed their families and grow old with it. And and they're all taking a salary, and it's sort of not where I wanted to be in a day in and day out sort of a position there. So I decided to start something different. And that's how we came up with the idea of Quest End. I mean, the idea is we create, for people who don't know, high-end premium spirit experiences for different fandoms. And our first one's Quest End. The company's called Find Familiar Spirits, but Quest End is our first drop.
Oh, amazing. And again, going to this whiskey, was this for you almost a means of getting to merge two of your passions with a high-end spirit like that and D&D? And did that make it into almost a dream project for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a dream project. I just have to clarify, we're not affiliated with Dungeons and Dragons. It's, D&D is a game. We are an RPG-based, sort of inspired whiskey, and D&D being sort of the most famous one, but we're not associated with them. Look, I am a grown-ass man, so I certainly drink my fair share of spirits, but that's not my passion. My passion is really fandom. Right. And I saw an opportunity, the same way with Beetle and Grimm's, I saw an opportunity that we could deliver a premium experience to specific fandoms that I think that people love. I mean, the way to celebrate the thing that you love most in the world can often be celebrated with with a glass of champagne, a beer, a whiskey, whatever. I mean, some of that, it just made absolute sense. So for me, my sort of connection to it is really about the fandoms and really trying to create premium experiences for sort of niche communities. I mean, RPG space is a $2.2 billion a year industry, so it's not niche, but not a lot of people are out there creating luxury goods for geeks, and I think that there's a real sweet spot there.
Yeah, and of course, this isn't just a great drink that people can enjoy while they're playing their favorite tabletop and RPG games. It includes artwork and even, I believe, its own fantasy quest, which I think is a really exciting idea. So can you maybe talk a little bit more about what we can expect from those? Because again, it makes this a very unique product, I think.
Yeah. You can go out and buy, direct to consumer here in the United States, a bottle of whiskey, and that whiskey will come wrapped in a bubble wrap and stuck in a big brown box, right? It can be $200 luxury goods, and like it just kind of comes like a, whatever. It comes like a normal package. And our whole thought is like, yeah, that's great. We can definitely deliver a high-end whiskey experience, but what if on top of that we created an unboxing moment? If we created a saga that went along with the brand. So right now, I mean, this is our bottle sitting here on the side of my desk because I stare at it every day as we're building it, as we're building the company. But every single time we deliver a bottle, we want to give something else for that community that makes that feel like a special moment. So for us, quests end. Each iteration, there are 16 drops planned. There are 16 different bottles that are coming to market. Each one of them has a different character, and each one of them has a continuing chapter in an ongoing saga. So, for example, this is our Paladin bottle. I put it down. I don't know why I put it down. And so Paladin is as we come into the world, we meet one of our heroes. Her name is Saren of the Pit. She's a paladin fighting for her freedom within these gladiator pits. And that's how we first find this world. And we start to journey with her as she goes through. And so the next drop is Rogue. The drop after that is Warlock. Then comes Dragon. So each one of these drops has a different chapter of the story, a different flavor profile, and a whole new sort of whiskey experience.
Yeah, and you mentioned the different flavors there, which again I think is a really exciting idea. And I'm intrigued by obviously the fact you tweaked the blends of each of them to match these characters. But beyond the fun of getting to sample those, what did that process involve, and how did you get creative with that side of things?
Yeah, so great, great question. The reality is that we've assembled an incredible team, right? So it's myself, Justin Ware, who's my partner, and Tim Sparapani, who just sold his company, Blue Run, is like our spirit guide. So the three of us brought together a collection of advertising professionals to sort of help us build brand and build the company. And then we brought together this collection of incredible icons in the RPG space. So Kate Welsh is the writer of our story. She'll continue the journey all the way through. And Tyler Jacobson, who's like a modern master of fantasy art, is doing all the illustrations and all the art. He helped design the bottle. And so the two of them sort of, as a group, we're telling the story. It's an incredible artistic sort of collaboration. We're all working together to sort of shape the story. Kate goes off and writes it. And then Tyler illustrates it, because each one of the books comes with a collection. It's like it's not a graphic novel, but it comes with the story, and it comes with a bunch of art. And then the third piece of that trinity is Ali Achilla, who's our master blender. She's a rising star in the spirit world. She's an incredible, she's very gifted. This is her passion. And so what we did, she doesn't game, right? So what we did very early on is like, okay, hey, this is our first drop. Sarah of the Pit, she's a paladin of Inksel, which is this god of life that we made up. And we sort of explained what a paladin is in world, and we explained her like spirit and what she was about. And then Allie went out and curated all these samples from the wholesale whiskey market. And from that, she blended what she feels is a articulation of this character, right? So that's Paladin. Our next drop is Rogue. And so she again went out and sort of curated her taste for Rogue. So that is going to continue. Warlock is not until second quarter of next year, but we're already building that. We are already, we're talking about barrel aging some stuff. Dragon's coming fourth quarter next year. So we are, as we aim forward, we're always building sort of a journey of flavor and a journey just as diverse as our heroes.
Oh, incredible. And you've shown us the bottle, and I think the design and the shape of that I think is really cool. But to see that now, obviously, for you to become a reality, how long was it from the moment you guys had this idea to move forward with Quest End till getting that bottle in your hand? How long has this process been for you? And because I can tell you obviously really wanted to, to get this right.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been a year and probably a year and a half, maybe not a year and a half, maybe a year and a quarter. We just started blending the whiskey last week. Our bottles, which come from France, landed yesterday, literally yesterday. We're still waiting on stoppers from Portugal. So it's all these moving parts has been, and putting them all together has been exhilarating, right? It's a different side of my brain. It's a different sort of a tool that putting together, using a different set of tools for me as a man, as a person, to try to lead, to try to collate all these things to happen. We have an incredible team on board. Everyone's super passionate about it. We're all excited about it. And it's been, look, we've gone all over the place. We've made mistakes as we go. We're figuring things out as we move through. But one of the exciting things I think about the company is that we consider ourselves, both Justin and I come from the filmmaking industry. Right? So Justin's a screenwriter, I'm an actor. And so our whole idea is like, can we utilize the movie studio sort of model, right? So Quest's End is our fantasy themed whiskey. We believe that you can make different whiskeys or different spirit experiences for different fandoms, right? So at like a movie studio, you have your blockbuster, you have your Academy Award nomination, you have your horror thing, you have all these different pictures. Well, we intend to do that same thing with the spirit space, finding different fandoms and creating really premium spirit experiences to directly appeal to that fan, right? I think there are a lot of things out there, a lot of brands out there sort of using fandom as a mechanism to sell units, right? They're capitalizing on people's passion to make money. We are as well, but it's different, right? We are speaking specifically and directly to fandoms in a way that's authentic and trying to provide them not only a premium whiskey experience, but deliver them something else on top of that. And that's what we'll continue to do. Continue to add lore, continue to add depth, and continue to speak to fandoms in authentic ways and create premium experiences so that they can celebrate however they want with spirit that's built for them.
Oh, that, well, as a fan, as you can probably tell behind me, of my, as part of a fandom myself, that's awesome to hear. And I can tell from speaking with you and just the details I've read about Quest End that this isn't one of those drinks that's just slapped a celebrity name on it for a cash grab. It's a passion project. So when it came to making this, not just a drink but an experience for RPG fans, how important was that for you? That that the people who are going to buy this are going to get that experience, not just a cool drink, it's a cool bottle, but they're going to walk away and they're going to remember this.
Yeah, it's funny because there is such a thing right now happening in our industry. Let's be candid. I mean, we see the success of George Clooney or Ryan Reynolds, and the celebrity list go on and on. And there has been a push in the press or in these conversations with some press people that this is another one of those celebrity brands, which is hilarious because I am by no means Ryan Reynolds or George Clooney in terms of being a worldwide icon. And so, it's scary for me that my name's associated in any way, because if we're just building it on my name and reputation, we're doomed for failure. Not doomed for failure, but you know what I mean? It's a very different thing. And so the thing that we constantly hold on to, our North Star in this endeavor, has been from day one, the fandoms. How do we authentically scratch an itch for those fans? And how do we make it exciting for them, right? In an authentic way. And so there is no Find Familiar Spirits without the fans. Like we're not just going to go out and make a $50 bottle of whiskey and try to sell it. I mean, there are, if you go to one of these big stores that sell alcohol like Bevmo in the States, there's 150 yards of whiskey, floor to ceiling. We can't compete with that. We can't compete with the giant names, the juggernauts in the space. So our only way to sort of create not only identity, but to create market or to make this entity profitable is to really find fans, hone in, and continually build something for them that that speaks to the people, that speaks to that fandom in a way that resonates. And within that, we can find success, right? We don't want to be the biggest whiskey in the world. We want to be the biggest whiskey in the RPG fantasy space, and that's what we want to. We want to continually do that across multiple platforms, multiple verticals. In success, your Spider-Man may be vodka any day now.
I'd love to see that. That'd be awesome. But for you, as you said, you're a long-time D&D and an RPG fan, and you're almost an ambassador now for these RPG role-playing games. So to be taking an active world in fleshing out, a new world with Quest's End. How does that feel? Not from necessarily Matthew the actor and businessman's perspective, but from Matthew the fan, to be able to get involved in a world you love in such an active way, and to share that with other fans.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I started playing as a kid. And I think that, for me, there was a real element in my life of being an outcast, right? I was an obese teenager. I had a severe learning disability. I had braces, glasses, and my life wasn't so awesome all the time. And so there's something about the RPG space. There's something about fan geekdom, right? There's something about the universe that we're living in terms of being fans, that in general, you have been considered an outsider at some point in your life, and something comes along and you find something to attach to that ends up having more value and meaning to you than other things, right? I mean, I think that fans of Manchester United football teams, when you see another fan, there's a fellowship there, and I'm not discounting that. Like, you go to a bar and you high five a fan, that's the same fan on the same team. But I do think that in geekdom, right, in fandoms where you have been considered an outside, there's a depth to it that's different than other fandoms. And so for being somebody that's been an outcast in my life, for being somebody that's now celebrated in my chosen passion, is super powerful. It's super powerful. It's very different than anything to do with like being the guy from Scream, right? That's great. That's my job. I'm glad people love it, and I'm proud of that movie. I'm proud of my career. I love my career, but I'm not connected to the. I don't know. I am connected to Scream because it's my identity in a lot of ways, but it's not as emotional as I am connected to this space, if that makes sense.
For sure. And you mentioned Scream there. Could obviously mention Scooby-Doo, another iconic role of yours. But I feel like as we're talking about Quest's End, we've got time for one last question. Rather than asking you those questions you've been asked a million times before about those two, I feel like our readers will really want to know, what's your go-to race and class when you're playing D&D or RPG games? And do you have any dream opponents in that realm? Because I know a lot of your fellow actors really love this tabletop playing world as well.
Yeah, so my class of choice is always a druid. I'm not somebody that likes like adding damage into a moment or like blasting from afar. I'm more of a I like to play like cunning moves or shrewdly or being a little sneaky and like sort of doing simple things rather than just adding damage. So for me, I like a druid. I like shapeshift. I like sort of having something I'm passionate about. With druids are connected to to the earth or to whatever they're connected to. But they have a passion there that they can, a moral code that you can live to. So I like that a lot. And then what was the other celebrity, yeah. So look, I have this company Beetle and Grimm, we talked about earlier. We have a new TV show coming out, which I can talk about, even though we're striking right now in California. It's not a struck company, so I'm allowed to talk about it in this in the embargo time. But we have this show called Faster Purple Worm
Love
Kill
that
Kill.
title.
Yeah, and there are 20 episodes of TV coming out. We invite all kinds of people, Patton Oswalt and Seth Green and Skeet Ulrich. We have all kinds of people coming in, Kate McCucci, and there's it's an incredible cast, incredible diverse. It's like the whole human tapestry is at the table. Each episode's 1 hour long. It's Whose Line Is It Anyways meets Dungeons and Dragons. So it's super fun. It's oddly emotional at times. But I think it's an incredible opportunity for people to find the game, it's a great ambassador for the game. You fall in love with how we play. Each table's different, each DM's different, each game's different, but still at the end of the day, every show is unique and fun. And so our hope is that show continues to find success and will continue to sort of open the door for the world to find this incredible game.
Oh, incredible. Well, I'm excited for that, excited for Quest End. And when the strike is over and you guys obviously back to work and you've got what you deserve, I'm rooting for your R-rated Scooby-Doo 3 pitch because that sounded awesome. But for now, Quest End, looking forward to people and myself for checking that out because what an awesome project you guys have put together. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, thank you so much for your support, Josh. We really appreciate it. Hits like this on a little company for ours makes all the difference in the world. So we really appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure to spread the word because I can tell you guys love what you're doing. And as a fan myself, got to appreciate that. So cheers.
Cheers, brother.